Welcome to another episode of Accelerate Podcast. I am so delighted to introduce my next guest for today. Her name is Okes Maduewesi, and she's the founder and chief executive officer of Zaron Group of Companies, which comprises of Zaron International Limited, Zaron Cosmetics, and Skin by Zaron, who are distributors and marketers of beauty care products under the Zaron brand. Zaron was conceived in Leeds in 2010 while she was studying for her MBA and birthed in Lagos, Nigeria in 2011 to provide an assortment of cosmetics products carefully formulated to suit diverse women of color living under different environmental conditions. Okes is a multi-award winning businesswoman and a mother of two girls. Her entrepreneurial spirit and inspiring determination helped her create her company when she found herself widowed in 2009. She left banking to pursue her passion, creating a range of makeup that would suit all skin tones. Since then, she's brought joy to millions of women of color who felt unloved and poorly catered for by the cosmetics industry. From inception, Zaron Cosmetics has aimed at impacting Africa's economy by growing enterprise and empowering the financial vulnerable amongst us, especially women and students. This Zaron does through creating widely accessible distribution opportunities with a percentage of profits used to give annual seed investments to widows with little or no experience in petty trade, providing trainings and capacity building at no cost to enable all interested persons become business owners and further drive employment in their localities whilst improving their standards of living. Okay, very warm welcome. Very warm welcome. Yay, she's clapping here. I mean, when I read your bio, I just had to go through.
Who is this person?
Yeah, there she is. No, but really, when I was reading your bio, I mean, I'm just moved by, what Zaron is doing and what Zaron aims to do. I mean, that's an incredible story. Really incredible.
Thank you so much, Nneka. Thank you. And it's so nice. I mean, we've had chats about how difficult a day it has been. So nice to be here. So nice to have this opportunity to have a seat. And it's amazing because I've had a difficult day, but you've made me so relaxed. So it's important to work with the right people. I always say that, and some meetings are just work. Yes. But this just feels like I'm having a chat with my friend. So
and that is exactly.
We have matching glasses.
Exactly. So the similarities are already there. Yes.
So we're having fun today. So,
absolutely, fun, and chat, and
we're having a nice, serious conversation, but at the same time we can have fun with it. So
absolutely.
I think we're winners today. Yes.
Absolutely. So thanks again. So I have many questions, but I know that our time is pretty limited. So I'm just going to dive right in. Already, as I was reading your profile, I was like, whoa. So the first thing is, I mean, from your bio, you started this after you found yourself widowed in 2009. Can you just speak around that, and why did you get into that, given all of the emotional turmoil, just finding yourself as a young widow? I'm sure this will, inspire, someone who found herself widowed after a very short time in marriage.
So yes, was the darkest time and still the darkest period of my life. I was 30 years old when I lost my husband, and I always sometimes I forget he's my husband. I always say my best friend, because it wasn't just about having a husband, it was about losing the closest human to you for the rest of your life. So it was extremely dark, and it was worse because we just had a 2-year-old baby, and I was 7 months pregnant with my second child. So I was a rookie in the bank, not knowing what to do and how to cope, and especially in a country, we're Africans, I'm Nigerian, and we know that it's hard for widows. We know that it's hard for women, single women that, in fact, sometimes you're actually judged being a single woman in Nigeria and all that. There's really no way for you to just come out of it. So at the point it happened, I remember saying to myself, and I actually did a tribute to him in the dailies. And one of the things I said is that I know you left because you knew I'll be able to take care of your children, and I promise to do you proud. And my driving force is, I always used to say, I do not want to be the typical face of widowhood in Nigeria. I don't want to be the face of a single mom in Nigeria. And I also will thrive just knowing that I can do it all by myself. And I just set out to just prove a point to myself and my children. So in the midst of the pain, I was determined to just make good of what has become the worst situation in my life and supposed to be a terrible time in the life of my children and their future. And I just determined to just work twice, 3 times, 4, 5, 10 times as hard as I normally would, knowing that I was doing this by myself. So that has been it. I just didn't want to be that face of widowhood. I didn't want to just look like into life and see how hard it could be. I mean, my husband was 33 when he passed, so we were both young.
Very young, just starting out. Yes.
We were just starting life.
Yes, yes.
All we had, we didn't have savings. We had dreams. We had dreams. We had goals. We had aspirations. So we were working towards them. We had just started working towards them. And he left me. And I said, you know what? We're going to live these dreams.
Yes.
And that was it. And that was it. And I mean, God has been exceptionally faithful, because my faith plays a very, very key role too. So I always say that.
Right.
But you must put the faith to action.
Absolutely, which you have.
I did that, yeah.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you know, you are definitely doing him really proud, right? I'm definitely feeling the face of widowhood as well. And just the impact, you know, you and the business is having on millions of women, and not just in Nigeria, across the continent. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so let's go to, okay, so you've dealt with the challenge of widowhood, which, I mean, you've surmounted. I wouldn't say, yeah, which you surmounted, and you started the business, which is thriving, and not just in Nigeria. I could say that in Nairobi, I was looking for some makeup, and I went to the one of the stores, and they were like, "We need to get Zaron." I was like, "Okay, I know the lady." You know, I felt super proud, you know, that yes, it was Zaron they recommended. Amongst all the other brands, international brands, and all that. So that speaks a lot about the reputation and the brand of Zaron. So having a successful business, I'm sure you must have had several lows, several challenges in your it's almost 19 years now of the business, correct?
No, Zaron is actually
10 years. Yes. 10 years this year.
10 years in
September, and this date stamping this is July 2021, will be 10 years, and the remarkable progress you've made. But having said that, what has been your most difficult experience in the business? Now I'm thinking of like business owners who are kind of thinking, you know, they want to start their own brand and all that.
So when I get asked this question, I'm like, do you have a day or 2 days or 3 days for me to start telling you the challenges that we go through? Yeah. Because seriously, NECA and everyone listening to me, it's on a daily. We all know what it takes to run a business in Africa. There's no structure, there's no system, there's absolutely nothing. You wake up every day and you just have to pray that what you have planned in advance would come through, because it just could change, you know, from your human resource to the road network, to the distribution channels, to transportation, to power, to government policies, to counterfeiting. Every day is a living challenge. So that's why they say that if you can run a business successfully in Africa, then yes, you are one of the best business people in the world.
Absolutely, I agree. I've done both, and I see that. Yes.
I know business school will teach you smart workers are the best business people in the world. But in Africa, you have to combine smart work and hard work, because it's hard. Physically hard to survive and sustain a business in Africa. So I could give you a list, and it will go on and on, like I said, one of the ones that almost puts me to just almost, I've never wanted to give up, but it really, 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 really,
You came close to it.
you know, so it was just seeing that at some point, 40% of the products we're selling out there were counterfeit products, right? And that's just my market share right there. And it was really hurtful. It almost destroyed us. But because we have so much resilience, me and my team, we knew that we would fight through any challenges and all that. But what I'll tell you is that in the midst of everything, especially Africans, always look at the rewards in the business. And of course, it's only in Africa that you get this amount of rewards, you know, the risks versus the rewards. The rewards are huge. So I always look at the end goal. I always tell myself that I work from the end and I start working down. So if I have to create a product, or if I have to go into a market, or if the next goal, the next strategic move and all that, I put it right in front of me. So I have that position in front of me and nothing stops until I get there. So that is how we work. That's how I work. I've always looked at things like that. So once that goal is right in front of you, you would have challenges. I always say that I would want to travel to the UK from Lagos. I could go through Nairobi. I could go directly. I could go through Dubai, right?
What direct? You could go through any.
Exactly, exactly. At the end of the day, the goal is to get to London. So you could have challenges. Maybe your pocket is not as buoyant, so you want a cheaper airline, or they block this airport, or this policy does not work, you know. But the goal is, do you want to get to London? At the end of the day, if I have to go to London, I have to go to London. I would not stop until I get to that place. So just think of the rewards, because if you focus on the threats and the challenges and all that, you would not be able to do a business, especially in Africa. So I always put the rewards in front of me, and just that the power of the mind is also very important. I always say to myself that there's nothing I cannot overcome. There's nothing that's no goal that's no challenges that we can't overcome. And every challenge, of course, is a learning curve. You know what not to do and how to do it better and how to navigate things. We have more strategic meetings in Zaron than any other place. I mean, because every day we have, okay, this is what we plan to do, but this is what is happening now. How do we overcome this? And we know Africa, but it's home. And if we don't build businesses, the foreign and the international brands are coming to take our businesses. So that mindset also has to be eroded when we think that we can just not do what we have to do because the systems don't work, right? There's no support from government. Accessibility to capital is a problem. The international firms are coming to take our businesses, you know, so we really need to just rise and do what we have to do, regardless of the shortcomings.
Absolutely. I mean, you've said some very interesting point. One of what, you know, the challenge of even the counterfeit, even though on the other hand, it's like, yay, my brand is actually the counterfeit, meaning that's something really good in it, right? Of course, that's a big challenge and dealing with that. But as you said, international players are coming despite the challenge. So there is definitely something really good and the market there.
Absolutely.
You know, and the fact that, you know, just keeping the rewards, looking at the end in mind, beginning with the end in mind, right? And yeah, no, that's excellent. Okay, so in the midst of the pandemic, which was probably one of the most challenging periods in the makeup industry, because there are not many events, people are not, you know, you're all at home, you don't have to wear your makeup and all that. But you went ahead and set up something else, which is a skincare line. Yay, another clap. Right.
We are super uber excited about this.
Yes. Congratulations again for that.
Thank you.
Yes. So, I mean, how did you get this going? Obviously, you must have been busy during the pandemic when it was actually a serious downturn in the cosmetics makeup industry.
Exactly. So, you know, when I was talking about me and my team, resilience is one word that we just always just hold so closely. But the pandemic was this time that shook everybody. It was the scariest time in most businesses, like, you know, except people that were doing food and all that. It was really, really scary. So when it started, it was, I mean, we went home, everybody, there was lockdown and all that, and we're working from home, and it was fear mixed with uncertainty, mixed with just lots of emotions just going through at every point in time. And I remember the first time I just felt, okay, this is what we have to do. First of all, what do? We started doing sales, online sales. We were doing, we came up with products that you could use at home, just something to just keep the Zaron brand out there. It was mainly about branding. We have this online campaign that we do, Zaron, Face of Zaron, which is a give back in young people. They try to put in their details to become brand ambassadors for the brand. So all we're trying to do is just keep the brand alive, right? So we did that for the longest period. But we also noticed that, okay, people at home, beauty is suffering, makeup is suffering, but more and more people were taking care of their skin. More and more people were particular about what their skin was about. So there was this sudden awareness on skincare. It was just mind-blowing. And we quickly jumped into it. We said, you know what, this is the time that people are wanting to just look after their skin. And because you do makeup too, if you don't have a good base, skin base, the makeup still would not even wear well, first of all. And we've always said, you know what, it's going to be our 10th year anniversary this year. What better time to launch a skincare brand or launch something new than when you're 10 years old. So I think, and we just went into action. We just started working. We just started coming up with samples, making sure it was right, going back and forth with manufacturers and just doing what we had to do. And it was a good time to just try the products, because before we come up with a product, we go back and forth. We do testing, we do everything, make sure that the products, and that's been a blessing. We've become a trusted brand because you know that the Zaron brand would make, I mean, our slogan is makeup made by the woman of color for the woman of color. And because the quality is very, very good, the quality is right, the pricing is right, we've become the most trusted brand in Africa in cosmetics. So, and we went back and forth, and Skin by Zaron is here.
It's born, right? It's born, ready to go around the world.
Yes, the products are just amazing. They are so, we're so, you know, I'm talking and smiling because we're so proud. We're really so proud and so thankful and so humbled by the fact that we have done amazing products and the consumers have trusted us enough. I mean, we already have reviews for the products. It's
I can't wait to, I can't wait to try that on.
I can't wait to send yours.
Yes. Yeah. So no,
Yeah.
that's really good. So, with, of course, you've talked about your lows. Now let's talk about the highs of Zaron, right? And your experience. What brings you the greatest satisfaction from setting up Zaron? What, you know, when you're at home smiling, you know, why?
Yeah.
What brings that smile?
Fantastic question. You know, I told you I lost my husband. My first daughter was 2 and I was 7 months pregnant. So I had 2 girls, and raising them as a single mom. So, and they see the hard work. They see the times that I'm almost not available because I have to go to work. They see the sacrifice of just not having the comfort of just having that father figure in their life and just having that dad that if mommy says, oh no, then at least there's somebody they can run to. They see all that. But just knowing that I have been able to create this brand and they see that. And they see that it's not because you have done just any business, but you have actually created something that would, yes,
from your
and,
go ahead, sorry.
and yes, and that would go global, and that would, and that the people they talked about, they drive on the streets, they see your billboards, they see your adverts. When some people, I mean, I don't, people know the brand, they don't know me. It was a deliberate strategy because I'm not that, I don't want to be that person. But just knowing that sometimes people go like, oh my God, you own Zaron and all that. Just seeing my girls and just having them have that with everything that's happened to us is just the most thankful thing I have to show for all the sacrifice. They see their mother as a role model. They know that you can work hard to become something. And just my human resource, they are so committed to this journey with me. They are the most amazing people. Just know that we are making a mark in Africa. Because I always say that in Africa, we always talk about the government and the policies and the leaders, but business owners have such a huge role to play. Just knowing that in my small way as a business owner, I'm doing my quota, taking people off the streets. And I know the multiplier effect, just even our distributorship network, just having people that have never owned their own businesses become distributors of Zaron. And now there are men and women and even students that can fend for themselves and their families just because they bought into the Zaron brand. Is just the beautiful and satisfying thing. But lastly, I remember going for one of Tony Robbins' courses, and he had said that success for him, what does success mean? And I remember saying, wow, I've always wanted to just be a person that can give, and all that. And I just said success is about growth and contribution. But I always say, if you don't have, you can't give. So it's a two-way flow. Yeah.
That's why you have to be successful and earn. Right?
Yes. That's why you have to be successful. So that's the secret.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm happy that I'm able to build a successful business and have enough to do much more than I would ever be able to do. Yeah. So I'm just so thankful and so blessed that I have zero regrets. Absolutely. Zero regrets. I always say that I wake up and things are on, and I'm just really grateful that I'm able to just see that change in Africa and just I know how many makeup and cosmetic beauty brands that have started because they saw that Zaron could do it this way and be that business and be that brand. And it's the woman, it's just been exceptional. And we have a lot of CSR activities that we're going to. We have the Zaron Hunger Free Day where we go and feed over 1,000 people, give them school supplies, children, really deprived communities. Wow. In Nigeria, extremely deprived. When you see them, you cry. And I remember going to a place like called Okoko. Even the name, it's something, we went there and there was almost a stampede, there were thousands of children just trying to get whatever it is, because we give them food, school supplies, we give the mothers food packs and all that. And it was one of the scariest days of my life. It was almost a stampede, and they were relentless. Just have a queue, but they just couldn't. And I remember making our ways out from that place, and I'm like, I'm never doing this again. And you know what? After, like I said, my faith plays a key role in my life. The Holy Spirit just said, I just wanted you to see what's out there. It's not for you to give up. It's for you to know that you have to do so much more, because there are people out there for you to change their lives. And I repented, and I was just able to do. We also have the Widows Day, where, because I'm a widow, where we get really deprived widows and we give them seed capital to go start a business. And we've had huge testimonies concerning how their lives have been transformed. They've been able to send their children to school. And also one thing that we do is change their mindset, because I'm a widow, and because I do not depend on someone, I had to fend for my children themselves. Because what you see most times is that they depend on, this brother did not do this after my husband passed, this family member didn't help me. So I had to it was a paradigm shift, just change their mindset to get them to commit to being that person that can really take it from there. So it's been a lot of, I can go on and on, but these are some of the things that just makes me wake up and just thank God. And regardless of the challenges that you see on a daily, you just know that there's just so much at stake and so much blessing. Yeah.
As you said, think of the rewards and beyond the financial rewards. And that's why kind of Accelerate is also about, apart from a life of success, the material rewards, financial rewards, there's also the life of significance. And that's what you're doing. Absolutely. Right? Being a blessing to others and using what you have, the resources which is why we have to be very successful, so that we can do as much. And you are definitely living that. Something I want to point out that, regarding your daughters, I believe the Zaron is actually coined from both their names, right? So they must feel very proud, and you've included them as part. It's also theirs.
It's a fusion of Zara and Honor, so that's where the name came from. So sometimes they go like, if you didn't have me, you won't have a Zara.
Have them, right? It's very much theirs, right? They must be proud.
So
Very, very
yeah.
proud of you. Proud of you. There's something you also mentioned, which is around how you were intentional about not building the brand, the business around you. Could you speak around that and what that means and why you were intentional about that? Because that's let me hear from you first.
Yes. So people always ask, why don't you want to be that face of the brand? And I'm like, first of all, just to let for anybody listening today, I mean, it's about the brand. I've always loved the brand, that brand. Some people have personal brands which becomes businesses for them, right? But it's also important that you are able to build the brand and if you can take yourself from it. And I said, you know what? I want a brand that would outlive me.
Yes.
Right? I don't want a personal brand. It's not about selling. I'm not selling Zaron. I'm selling a brand. And also because I am not a makeup artist. There was no prior experience before I went into the business of beauty. So it's about just being a success at everything you choose to do. So my friends see me and they go like, you okay, beauty products? I'm like, yeah, but it was from the start, it's about the brand. And I will say a bit about how it started. It's also, I was in a classroom in Leeds Business School. When I say it started from Leeds, it actually started from that class when I was doing my MBA. And we kept on doing case studies about businesses, global brands and all that. And something in me kept on asking questions. Why is every case study about a foreign brand? Why can't we have our own case study? Why can't we be the brand that they talk about globally? And that was it. I just said, it's the same market. We are consuming Western products, which, I mean, I'm not saying we shouldn't consume Western products, but why can't we be the people creating products that everybody can consume? So from the start, I just wanted it to be about the brand and not about, and I don't like being out there too. So
That's one of the reasons why I got you, because also accelerate.
people like Neka don't pull me, pull me out like this and bully me too.
Right.
Because I got a message, I'm friends with her, and she, my older sister, I said, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'll be there. So yes. So
Yeah, and that's intentional because it's also a podcast to also highlight women who are doing amazing things, who are not necessarily out there. And there are also people who are inspired not by people that are who are not people that are usually out there and don't feel comfortable being out there. So to
absolutely.
also then be inspired by people who are not necessarily out there and are still making a success of that,
Absolutely.
so that's also, and then I can get to blow your trumpet here, right? At least once in a while of what you're doing. So great, I mean, great insights you've just shared there. And I also to add to that, in terms of even the value of the business, because it's not also revolving around you, it grows. There's premium for that because it's not,
Absolutely.
you are an entrepreneur, right? Who owns that business? So it just makes yeah,
I'm
that's
just a founder CEO. It could
exact
be,
founder CEO, exactly.
it could travel anywhere into any hands. That's
Exactly,
it.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, now you have you are in how many countries now? Your products sold?
So currently we're in about 13 countries. Yeah.
13. Wow.
Yeah.
What has been your experience expanding internationally and competing with other international brands for market share, for store space, within Africa and beyond?
So one of the experience with, and this is not just because it's other African people in Nigeria. So this is a black man thing. And before I started Zaron, I used the business as my dissertation. Really, I had told my supervisor, okay, this is what I'm thinking of doing back home, and I do this as a. So that was my starting point, which I'm really thankful and grateful for. And I got to know that us Black people, of course, we would rather foreign brands to local brands, and it's a disease, you know that, right? And by the time I was about to start, I did the research, and in fact, years back, people would prefer made in Ghana more than made in Nigerian brands and all that. But I saw that things were beginning to change. Um, people would watch Nigerian movies over foreign movies
Yes,
now.
true.
everywhere you go to, Selfridges, home, abroad, the US, you listen to Nigerian songs, and all that. I mean, your sister told me she was making Ankara for you to
Oh,
wear in the
yes.
US.
Exactly. I'm currently in the States. Yes. And I said
Yes,
I wanted absolutely
you
my
wanted some
clothes.
Ankara
Yes.
clothes. So things have long changed and all that. So, but it's not there yet.
Mm.
So we speak more, we have to talk more when it's a local brand than you normally would talk. And in all fairness, we don't have that network here. We don't have the capacity that foreign brands have. So we're talking about the likes of Maybelline and the L'Oreal and all those brands, those big brands. But more and more, I know that when we enter stores, people find matching shades much more than they would find anywhere else, largely because we are targeting our own kind. So we have more shades for our own kind. It's just been so. Those are some of the challenges we're having, but once we are in the market, we just really do well. So we're grateful for that.
Right.
And yes, and we just, I mean, so we have a team, which is the foreign market team. Their job is to just try to get us into more markets internationally. So that's where we are.
So you have the team focused on them. So obviously, are they local people? So, like for example, in Nairobi, you have a Nairobi team or a rep or something, right? Who knows the local market and is now able to do the marketing for you around that. But then you also mentioned something that I guess maybe having the variety or the actual products that are a better fit, right? So you know your customers even more than, for example, the international brands. And so you have you have a headway, leadway in that. Yeah.
Because our sampling is just based on us,
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Yes.
research is based on us, survey is based on us. And also don't forget, it's not just the skin tone, shades, type, and size, it's also the weather condition. Because we outsource manufacturing, we know that sometimes we even because that's why we're proud of the products we have. We're confident that it's not like any other product because we keep going back and forth. Sometimes we found that those people don't even understand, they really don't. So they try a product. You can try a product on a white skin and it doesn't appear the way it will appear on a, so we are complaining about something but they are not able to see it until we say no, our undertone is different, this is what it is and all that. So little things like that, it makes a whole lot of difference to the woman of color and their skin tone and our weather, of course, is just
Yeah, so
completely,
really knowing your environment very well, and so
our humidity
you
is
can
different
stand
from
your
my
own.
humidity.
Yes.
Yes, so it's interesting to and exciting to even learn. It's been a learning curve for every single one of us. Even we've learned, we've grown, we've come to understand certain things that we never thought we could. So
Right. Okay, as we begin to wrap up, how do you develop yourself beyond your experiences that learning from, okay, this has happened, you have your plan and then you have your actual, and you're having your meetings and it's like, okay, what are we going to do? But beyond that, how do you develop as a founder and a CEO of a rapidly growing international skincare, or not skincare, cosmetics and group of companies? Let me call it group of companies.
So it's interesting when my husband just passed, it just, when you kind of give up a certain part of you, right? And you just focus on just building life and just doing what you have to do. So the initial years, I just wanted to just live a good life with me, afford them the life that we had dreamt of for me and the girls. So that was at the forefront. But when you turn 40, you begin to see life completely different. So you begin to think of yourself more. Yes. So one of the things that I think of is social network. I like great friends. I like I'm not a really that outgoing, but I like great friends, great relationships. Go to a really nice fancy. I'm a foodie.
Okay, I am too.
I start to look this way. I'm a foodie, so I like good food. So I like to go to nice restaurants. I want to travel the world. I want to explore the world. And I always say, well, I don't mind if I'm doing it by myself. I don't feel, some people go like, oh, it's a sad life. No, I'm not sad. Don't be sad for me. It is what it is, right? I want to live the best life given the circumstance and the situation you're in. So if you're there just feeling sorry for yourself, regardless of whatever it is that you are, please don't. Just determine to live the best life you can. So I just want to travel the world, see the world, you know, and I binge sometimes. I watch Desperate Housewives.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, did I say Desperate Housewives? Atlanta Housewives, sorry.
Okay.
So sometimes I'm just after work, I'm like, okay, you know what, let me just do something. So I try to, my children think I have their time too much. Teenagers, very selfish children, you know how this generation can be. So I'm trying to create more time for myself, have good, great relationships, take nice walks. I go to a country and I just walk around, just see the world. And I mean, when I was younger, I did like shopping, but as you get older, you find out that experience is more important than shopping.
Absolutely.
So so I like experience
Yes.
way more now. So I'm just being really trying to be kind, just trying as hard as possible to be kind, because in the midst of all the frustrations we go through in Africa, it's hard to remember kindness sometimes. So what I say, that it's not about the person or what the person has done, it's about what is right to do, what's the right thing to do. So I remind
Especially
myself.
as you know more, so you are held to a higher level, right? Because you have a higher level of awareness, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so, what have been developing your mind? What do you do around that?
I do a lot of trainings. I like visual, so I do a lot of trainings. I go to markets and surveys, market seminars, business seminars. So I do a lot
And
of
you
training.
schedule that in the year, around the year, right?
So I was just saying to a friend that I really do have to do something, because of COVID, in 2 years I haven't. The last time I was in Nairobi was I came with the team of Lagos Business School. There was a global CEO course,
Okay.
which was the first, which was just
Right.
launched, and
Okay.
we had it in Lagos, Nairobi, and New York, because Yese University was part of it. So that was actually one of my first times in Nairobi, and it's such a beautiful place, by the way.
Yes.
So I always make sure that is part of my yearly plan, just to grow and learn, and just talk to nice people that are doing incredible things, and just yes.
Because there's opportunity to learn from everyone, right? So you're
And all these webinars, all this, I listen to you too.
well, okay. Well,
I listen to you. You're just amazing. I know when you were talking about what you do and giving back and all that, I'm like, you don't even understand that what you're doing is just tremendous, because people are sitting down and hearing you, and because of what you do all the time, people are challenging themselves. They are making a mark out there just because they have listened to a NECA podcast.
oh, well, thank you. This was not, I didn't plan for you to say this. Well, thank you.
Remember, you bribed me before
No,
we
you know,
started.
I didn't. I'm like, okay, this is not part of the Q&A, but thank you so much.
Bribe me. I don't want to return the money to you, so this is the bribe.
No, but really, thank you for such gracious words. Thanks. Okay, so as we wrap up, this is the last question. What would you say?
We've had 3 last questions.
Yes. No, really, this is the last. You see, we're just having a chit chat, but I know we have to.
We're having fun. Yes.
Yes, exactly. But really, the last one. Final words, and that's what I mean. Final words to someone who is kind of wondering what's this all about. This was not how I planned my life. You know, I'm middle-aged. When I say middle-aged, you could be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever middle is to you. And like when I was 19, 20 or 21, this is not how I imagined my life to be. My business is down, maybe marriage is totally out, either ended or I don't have anyone, or I'm not even yet married and I still have these dreams. What would you say to that person? To that lady? Yes.
Fantastic. Lady, male, female,
Yes,
whatever.
exactly. I know guys are listening to this as well.
And whoever you are, I always say that please. And there's something I came up with a long time ago. I call it the three roadmap, right? And I say that everything starts and I mean almost ends there. So it's very important if you want to do something, and this is also about business and your personal life. The three roadmap. The first thing is the power of the mind. I always say that the mind is the most powerful tool ever. They said 80% is the mind, 20% is just the actual watch doing it, just doing it actually. So the mind is really powerful. Just change your mind because your comfort, just being there, it's because it's your comfort zone, but you blame other people for it. Learn to just believe that you can become something. Please make sure that your mind works positively for you. Then the second step is after you feel that way, take the action. So the second step is taking action. Do it. Do it. Just go timelines. When do I do it? How do I do it? What? Put the timelines. Start researching. Start talking to people. Just start the work, and you'll find out that it's actually not as bad as you think. Then the final one is when you start it, please making it work. So important because on a daily, like I said, when I started, the challenges are on a daily. Don't focus on that. Just make it work. Just do what you have to do on a daily, monthly, yearly to making sure that thing works. So the three roadmap, power of the mind, taking action and making it work. So, so important.
Fantastic. Okay, this has been fantastic. This has been
Thank you for
amazing. So
having
many
me.
learnings for me. Thank you so much for taking time out to spend this last, I think about 35 minutes. Yes, so thanks a lot, and thank you very much for listening in. Um, do let us know, give us some feedback on how you found this, and share this and subscribe to this podcast.